Imagine being attacked at the moment you are the most vulnerable.
Well, that is exactly what happened to Israel in October of 1973.
My name is India, and today we are diving into a pivotal moment in the history of the Middle East, the Yom Kippur War. But before we get into the nitty-gritty, let's set the stage.
In the late 60s, tensions were high in the Middle East. Israel, a young nation, had just expanded its borders significantly after the Six-Day War. But the peace was fragile, and the neighboring countries were not happy about the new boundaries.
Fast forward to October 6, 1973, a day that started as usual, but soon turned into one of the most intense wars the region has ever seen.
This day was Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement, the holiest day in the Jewish calendar. You see, on Yom Kippur, Jews are fasting, praying, and refraining from any form of work, making it a time of vulnerability as the nation slows down to observe this sacred day. It was on this day that Egyptian and Syrian forces seized the opportunity to launch a coordinated attack on Israel, catching them somewhat off guard. The war that ensued was brutal, with both sides suffering heavy casualties. Initially, it seemed like Israel was on the brink of defeat, facing overwhelming forces on multiple fronts.
But Israel was not ready to give up.
Through swift mobilization of reserve troops, innovative tactics, and fierce determination, they not only defended their territory, but began pushing back the invading forces. One of the turning points was the daring crossing of the Suez Canal, a maneuver that caught the Egyptian forces off guard and shifted the momentum in Israel's favor.
This bold move, coupled with relentless counterattacks, began to turn the tide of the war.
The world watched in horror as the conflict escalated, fearing it might spark a larger conflict in the region. But after weeks of fighting, a ceasefire was finally brokered.
The aftermath of the war led to something almost nobody expected: a chance for peace.
The Camp David Accords, facilitated by the United States, brought Egyptian President Anwar Sadat and Israeli Prime Minister Menachem Begin to the negotiating table. This led to the historic Egypt-Israel Peace Treaty in 1979, a beacon of hope in a region often marred by conflict.
This treaty not only brought peace between Egypt and Israel, but also paved the way for further negotiations and peace treaties in the region.
The Yom Kippur War, a conflict that started with aggression and loss, eventually paved the way for dialogue and peace, showing that even in the most turbulent of times, there's always a glimmer of hope for a brighter future. This is the Yom Kippur War.
This is Inside Israel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.